The other day I was looking for a snack, and that's when I noticed this bag of dried chickpeas, and I thought to myself, I wonder what would happen if instead of making hummus, I hydrate them and make a garden to see if I can grow them myself. So I got a little glass and placed half a cup of some dried chickpeas right inside. Then I poured those chickpeas into a cup of water, sealed the jar airtight, and waited 24 hours for them to puff up. And once they looked like this, I removed the lid, placed a piece of saran wrap on top, sealed it with an elastic, and started poking holes in the top with a toothpick. Since they were hydrated now, I wanted to add good air circulation so that they could actually potentially start to grow. Every few hours, I shook the jar so that I would avoid any mold growth, and 3 days later, I woke up to my chickpeas looking a little different. To my surprise, they actually started to grow tiny tails. Some of them even started to sprout open on the top, and it looked like that's where a leaf would start to grow pretty soon. So, to increase our chances of chickpea survival rates, I placed some of the seeds inside my grow box. This way we would have the perfect conditions for them to grow, like actually grow really big, and eventually be ready to get outside in the summer sun to grow chickpeas. And chickpeas only take about 2.5 months to fully grow more chickpeas, so I was pretty excited to see what would happen here and whether or not we would grow a hummus plant. So I covered my chickpea with a little lid, made sure to fill my grow box with water when it got to the empty level, and I waited 7 days, a very difficult week. But patience is key here because it finally started to grow a little leaf, and I guess I got a bit eager and decided that I would plant them outside in a pot now. I could have waited longer with them growing in the grow box, but the summer was here and the sun was asking me to put them outside so they could grow. So I removed the seed from the grow box, brought them outside, and started placing them inside a pot filled with soil in orderly fashion. And then, arguably, the hardest part came, waiting for them to sprout. But soon, 14 days passed, and I awoke from my slumber and walked outside to my garden to this. The chickpeas had very long, lanky sprouts, and that's when I decided they needed a bigger home. So I removed the chickpeas from their little container, noticed all the roots circling around each other, spread them out a bit so they could grow nicely in their new soil home, and placed them right in the middle of the new pot. I covered it up with more soil, and 2 weeks later, this is what the chickpea plant was looking like. Not quite ready to make my own hummus yet, but it was looking more defined and really nice, maybe even a little less lanky. Well, 2 more weeks passed, and then they looked like this, and then another 2 weeks, and once it looked like this, I decided to give it a final repot so that by the end of the summer, we can have our chickpeas and finally make hummus.